Okay, we're doing the thing. There we go. There we go. Let me just share the thing out real quick. Okay. Alright. Guys, it's been like a major adventure today. Like you have absolutely no idea. Oh my god. Getting here was insane. Dave, what's up, Adam? I see progress has been moved your hair. Oh, you're funny. Yeah. No, I like literally just washed it and like just like put oil in it after I washed it. It's still the massive like static electricity power. Wait, is my mic like staticky? Wait, am I staticky for real? Let me know. Because much like Helen Keller, I can't hear myself. So I'm relying on you guys to let me know if I'm all jacked up. Oh crap! All right. Well then, let's. All right. How's that? Is that better? We doing good? Okay. Hey, what's up, Tristan? Hey, thanks. All right. Still staticky. Okay. Better? Okay. How better is better? Like you'd rather get crushed to death under the staticky crackling sound of my voice, or it's slowly melting you alive in like, I don't know, an acid bath of vibrations. You know, which one? I don't know. Raise my volume just a bit. Okay, I can do that. Hold on a second. Let me see. Well, that's as far as my volume goes. What if I do that? Is that better? I feel like that might be better. Then again, I said that about chicken sandwich I had a couple weeks ago, and I got like really bad salmonella. Salmonella. Why is that such a weird word? I almost said like filet mignon. Lower it a bit. All right. Too loud. Too loud. Okay, we're doing good. Okay. Are we in business? Or are we rocking with an electric stove? I would say gas, but I'm not that rich. But I'm rich enough to gorge myself on comics. Because Jesus Christ, I checked the price on my comics this week, and I was like, oh, that's so much money. It's so expensive. But yeah, I'm just gonna like keep talking as if everything's all right. You guys say that I sound fine. I'm not gonna second guess myself here. So yeah, let's just jump right into it, huh? All right. So, oh wow, Tristan just like jumped right into it. Bet. Okay, cool. Tristan said the books that I'm getting this week are Amazing Spider-Man number 4, Moon Knight number 12, X-Men number 12, Immortal X-Men number 3, Nightwing number 93. You are a brave soul. Dark Crisis, Young Justice number 1. I actually read all those books outside of Amazing Spider-Man 4. I've kind of given up on Spider-Man. Um, I don't think that it's very weird. Modern Spider-Man's a peculiar pickle, if I may. Um, I feel like for the past 20 or so years, um, Spider-Man as a character has kind of shifted in terms of the way he's approached creatively. The big draw for me with Spider-Man, um, at least from when I was a kid, reading a lot of my parents' back issues and reading a lot of those collected editions of comics from the 70s and 80s, is that Spider-Man's a romance comic. Yeah, it's a soap opera like Days of Our Lives kind of thing, with superhero stuff in the background, kind of informing Peter's actions in his personal life. And I don't know. I feel like ever since the like first two Sam Raimi movies, or really the first Sam Raimi movie, which those films are very much Sam Raimi just remaking the Donner Superman films through the lens of Spider-Man. And that's like bled into the comics, I feel. That's just what Spider-Man's become now. Like, Spider-Man is just a miniature Superman Jr. type character, with I guess more creative powers. Well, maybe not more creative, but that's why I did the air quotes. But I don't know. I feel like that problem's only gotten worse as time goes on. Because now Spider-Man's like traveling the multiverse, and he was hanging out with interdimensional versions of himself, and he's buddy with the cosmic powers of the Marvel universe. And I don't know. I feel like Spider-Man is more and more becoming Superman. And I don't know. Just the appeal of Spider-Man is it's kind of lost. And this current run is only like 4 issues in, but it really feels like the current writer, I think, is it Kyle Higgins? Maybe I'm just saying that because I was reading Radiant Black earlier, but or no, Radiant Red, which came out this week, but I didn't buy it because I'm buying all that stuff in trade. But I don't know. I really feel like the current writer on Spider-Man is kind of keeping with that more modern tradition. I don't know. That's just what Spider-Man is now. Spider-Man's just Marvel Superman at this point. And I don't know. It's very weird, very interesting. But yeah, until that changes, you guys didn't. You can tell me how Spider-Man's doing in comics. I hear that Mary Jane is like apparently the MILF now, but like the kids aren't Peter's. So maybe I don't know. That's kind of Days of Our Lives ish. I saw a lot of people freaking out about that on Twitter, but I don't know. I feel like that could potentially go somewhere interesting. I don't know. I'll check it out in trade. I'll see how this whole thing goes before I make like a snap decision. Let's see. Adam Keanu says favorite Spider-Man villain. For me, I'll get stoned to death. Norman in Sin's Past, where he got the girl that he loved and trained their kids to kill Peter in the future. Still don't know why they aged. Well, that's kind of okay. First of all, you are a man of culture, Adam. I also really like Norman Osborn in Sin's Past. The only thing that really undercuts Sin's Past for me is the fact that Norman is alive. in that story. But not like for real. Okay, I have like a very weird relationship with the J. Michael Straczynski Spider-Man run. On the one hand, in theory, Straczynski does everything that I could quite possibly say is repulsive within the context of Spider-Man. He makes the character centered around magic. He gets rid of the core supporting cast and has Peter kind of go off on his own and kind of like build a new supporting cast. He has Aunt May figure out that Peter is Spider-Man. And he does the whole thing with like Sins Past where Norman Osborn cucks Peter and has kids with Gwen Stacy, like it, and then don't even get me started on the whole like Avengers thing where Peter Parker becomes an Avenger and he becomes Tony Stark's Robin. Like it's everything about that conceptually sounds terrible. But let me tell you why it works. So the thing with Straczynski's run as a whole is that whole run, at least as I interpret it, is about your perception of the world changing as you get older. Straczynski has been very open about how when he's writing Peter Parker as like a early to mid 30 something. And I think that's very fascinating when you're working on a character like Spider-Man, who is the original teenage superhero. Well, not really the original teenage superhero, that's Robin, but the original teenage solo superhero. What happens when that guy grows up and is like in his 30s and he's still running around doing the same thing that he was doing when he was in high school? What goes through that guy's mind? And how does his worldview evolve as he gets older? And as he's trying to pick the pieces up as his life is falling apart. No, I like the idea that Peter's perception of his powers changes because the concept of his abilities being linked to magic is kind of used as like a framing device for Peter having like this existential crisis or like quarter life crisis, and all that's happening as he's like trying to like get his wife back and get his life back on track, but then at the same time like you have these like creeping like what's the term? It's literally like these like phantoms from his past, kind of like clinging to his soul, and that's represented with the whole Sins Past arc, which just Norman being alive kind of undercuts that a little bit. Norman should be dead, but I mean that's not Straczynski's fault. That's a whole thing from the Clone Saga. But still, no. Like I really like the idea of Sins Past within the context of Straczynski's run as a whole. Like Peter's like reevaluating everything in his life, and then he finds out that the woman he loved dearly and died, and he never really got a chance to like, grow up with her, and she died very young. He finds out that she went behind his back and broke his heart in like the worst way possible. Something about that's very fascinating to me, and I like Sins Past. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot where I like Sins Past. I think it's really interesting, and I see Tavi just joined the chat, and he's probably thinking, "What the hell is he saying?" That's like absolute heresy. But yeah, no, I don't know. I dig the concept now. more so than I did when I was younger. But I don't know. Maybe that's the whole point of Straczynski's run. You know, like it's about getting older, and you know, as I'm getting older and experiencing more things, and going through the woes of life. A lot of the stuff that Straczynski was putting down, I'm starting to pick up. Even stuff I didn't like necessarily. Yeah, no. Aggressively Relaxing says, thanks to Spencer's run, all of that stuff got retconned. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. I kind of wish it didn't, but like, no, I get it. I get why people don't like it. There's like there's something sacred to Gwen Stacy as a character that I think a lot of people want to hold on to. They would like want to retain that purity that a character kind of had. Even though, okay, Gwen Stacy wasn't really all that pure, if we're gonna be honest with ourselves. Like she was kind of an asshole, but like that was most Steve Ditko characters. Especially Steve Ditko female characters. You ever notice how they're all crazy people? Like Aunt May's a crazy person, Betty Brant's a crazy person, Gwen Stacy is a crazy person. Well, no, okay, Gwen's not a crazy person. She's very rude. You know, we're gonna go by like anime and manga like terminology. Gwen Stacy was very much a tsundere. Like she was just kind of biting and cruel for like no real reason. Like, I think the first time she sees Peter's like rushing across the Empire State University campus to get to Aunt May, and he ignores her. And just from then on out, Gwen has this like cold shoulder towards Peter, and it's like, bitch, I had to worry about my aunt. What do you? Get off, hop off, chill out for a second. I don't know. It's very interesting. Also, like Betty Brant, it's like a weird pedophile. I don't know. It makes me want to go down the rabbit hole of like, I don't know. Let's really ponder how Steve Ditko was. Let's ponder Steve Ditko's perception of women based off his run on the Amazing Spider-Man. But I don't know. That's like a whole research topic for another day. But Zeb Wells is doing the Amazing Spider-Man currently. Okay, yeah, sorry, Zeb Wells. Who did I say? Was it Kyle Higgins? You're the same person, right? Yeah. Because they both white. And if you're white, you're Ben Affleck. That's how that works. Paul Rudd taught me that. Paul Rudd has all the answers. I really hope like someone gets that reference, because that would be like really bad if like no one did. I'm not just being racist for the sake of being racist. There is a joke behind it. Oh wait, did you say? Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood your question. Okay, so favorite Spider-Man villain moment. You know what? I don't know. I agree with you. I think it might be Sins Past. I think that's like the most crushing thing Norman Osborn's ever done to Peter Parker. I think that's the most crushing thing anybody's like ever done to Peter Parker. But yeah, no, the kid thing's still pretty stupid. But not nearly as stupid as what Straczynski wanted to do, where the kids were actually Peter's, and Peter's DNA made them grow up faster. That's stupid. I'm sorry. That's like one of those cases where I'm glad editorial stepped in and said, nah, nice idea, but no. Do something different. Adam says, I wish they would get some new blood on Spider-Man instead of people who've been trying to write him how either they perceived him when they were young or fixing him. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's a whole thing we've talked about earlier on the channel. Spider-Man editorial is extremely Oedipal. You know, you feel me? Like, every new creative team, I feel like, is brought on board with the express purpose of hacking to death what the previous creative team did, and then saying, fuck that, we're gonna do something different. While also doing something equally as bizarre and strange. Rinse, wash, repeat. It's a very weird process, but that's why I feel like Spider-Man as a character, on top of the Superman thing that I've talked about earlier, where Spider-Man's just like baby Superman now. But you know, I feel like that's the other big problem that Spider-Man's had in a modern context. Like, just no one's trying to build off of anything anymore. They're just trying to weird. That was the Spider God telling me to stop bitching about Spider-Man. But yeah, no, like it's a whole weird thing. Yeah, it sucks. I just wish like every new creative team would just stop trying to like destroy what the last creative team built. And you know, you just see people building off each other. Fine, Spider God. Jesus, I'll stop talking about Spider-Man. Good Lord. Alright. Tristan says, I wanted to ask something. Would Zdarsky writing Superman be a good idea or not? Well, I don't know. I think Zdarsky on Superman... I really like Chip Zdarsky. But something that I think it was Joshua Williamson said is that while it's fun to fan cast creative teams, sometimes those people that you're like fan casting don't really have a pitch, and they end up writing a really crappy run or really crappy story. So as much as I love Chip Zdarsky, I mean, it all depends on if he has a Spider-Man story to tell, you know? Because if he doesn't, he's probably just going to churn something out that's, like, mediocre at best. But I would be interested to see what Chip Zdarsky, if he had, like, a pitch for it, would do with Superman. So, yeah. Adam says, the JMS run is strong at first, but falls off after issue 500. They copped out and forced him to be an Avenger. Being an Avenger means nothing these days. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's... The Avengers are in a weird spot, aren't they? I've actually been going back and rereading some classic Avengers, because the Avengers was never really a book that I was super interested in. I really like the Ultimates, and I appreciate a lot of the classic Stan Lee and Jack Kirby Avengers comics. But I don't know, I'm like trying to go through some of the Roy Thomas stuff, and I actually have some of the Kurt Busiek comics here. I'm going through those currently. The Avengers used to be what's a good term for it? The Avengers. Okay, I got it. So, a big mistake that I used to make when I was a kid trying to read the Avengers is that I had this perception in my head that the Avengers were Marvel's version of the Justice League. And they're not. And by that I mean they kind of are, but they also really aren't. It's weird. So the Justice League, they're the Pantheon, you know, they're the Olympians, you know, they're the Ennead, they're the gods who stand upon the mountaintop, and they defend humanity from the monsters from beyond. The Avengers aren't that. The Avengers are a bunch of like ragtag super celebrities who are fitted together in this like Big Brother style mansion. Have you guys like ever watched like Big Brother, that like really trashy reality TV show, or like Jersey Shore or stuff like that? Like they're all like these like, rich people living in this mansion, and they're like, hey, let's have a team and let's go save the world. And they get into like all these hijinks where they think that they're the Justice League, but really they're more kind of like a more successful version of the Seven. It's very weird, very interesting. The threats that the Avengers face aren't the same threats that words. The threats the Avengers face aren't really the same threats that the Justice League face. The Justice League, they fight monsters and aliens and tyrants. With the Avengers, the threats are less external and more internal. It's more about, scandal from within the Avengers. Oh no, the Avengers! Look at them. They've hired this Connie who was in league with a KGB super spy agent. Why would they do that? Oh, and they also they brought on board 2 mutants from a terrorist organization. Oh, TMZ's got the exclusive. The Avengers is very much like that. And I don't know, it's very interesting and very different, and also highlights the core difference between Marvel and DC. I don't know. It's weird that the Avengers, for a long time, they were this kind of like weird ragtag friends group of like celebrities, and then Avengers Disassembled happens, and I don't know, that whole era just kind of dies, because then like once you have like Spider-Man and Luke Cage as like the faces of the Avengers, well then it's not really the same thing anymore, is it? When you have like a bunch of street level heroes kind of like fighting the wrecking crew in the suburbs, it's different, and then Bendis later does like Mighty Avengers, and he basically just makes the Avengers a baby version of the Justice League, which is like even more exaggerated now because Jason Aaron has the Avengers operating out of the skull of a dead Celestial. I don't know. It's very weird. Yeah. I don't know. In a very black-pilled way, I guess you're right, Adam. Being an Avenger means really nothing these days. Especially when you let Deadpool on the Avengers. Like that was a weird, bizarre. Tuvia says Spider-Man should be around to move forward and let him get married. Because Iron Man is married, kind of, sort of. Kind of. That whole Iron Man marriage with, like, Patsy Walker, I think is going to wind up being very much the same kind of case as the Tom King Catwoman marriage. And that I don't think there will be a marriage, because I think the point is that there shouldn't be. If you read the whole like Cantwell run on Iron Man, I understand why a lot of Iron Man fans have a problem with it and don't like it, but it's okay. They're entitled to the wrong opinion, because I think it's great. I think Cantwell and Cafu's run on Iron Man is a fantastic display of a megalomaniac experiencing a nervous breakdown over the course of like 20 or so issues. Because that's what this whole thing is. Tony Stark is... I feel like Cantwell is taking a step back and looking at the character's recent history and saying, okay, so just in the past 15 years, Tony Stark became a transhumanist. He turned himself into a living supercomputer. He became the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. after throwing half of his friends in an interdimensional gulag. He got viewed as a massive like superhero fascist for a couple of years. He got nearly beaten to death by Norman Osborn on live television. He then like lost his company and like everything to the Mandarin, I think is how Fractions Run ends. My light's flickering, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but then after that, you just get the whole decade where everyone's trying to write him like a discount Robert Downey Jr. But then he dies and becomes like a clone. It's weird. Like Tony Stark has had a weird history the past like 15 or 20 years. And I feel like Cantwell and Cafu are just kind of like they're just kind of saying no. Tony's not all right. Tony is about as screwed in, as tight as my light bulb. There, it's he's going in and out, you know. And I don't know. I'm really interested to see what comes of this marriage. I don't think there will be a marriage. I think the point is that there shouldn't be, because Tony's just kind of grabbing at something to make himself feel good. And Patsy is that thing that makes him feel good right now. Just like the armor makes him feel good. Just like morphine makes him feel good. Just like alcohol makes him feel good. Just like women make him feel good. Like Tony's always grasping for something to make himself feel whole. And I don't know. I'm fascinated to see where this run goes. I wish One More Day was retconned instead of Sins Past. Well, it kind of was. Kinda. Yeah, ish. That was the whole thing with not going down swinging. What was the name of the last arc that the Spencer had? But yeah, no, that whole thing where you find out that Mephisto tampered with Peter's life because in a potential future, Peter's daughter kills him. Okay, well, no. It doesn't retcon One More Day, but it definitely provides better context for why One More Day happened. I don't know. I accept it. Tammy says, I maintain that Gwen Stacy was boring. Well, yes, that's an interpretation. A lot of people in the 70s felt that way. I think Gwen definitely got boring when Jerry Conway comes onto the book. But yeah, I don't know. At least in that Stan Lee era, Gwen Stacy's like kind of a cunt. But like a lot of Stan Lee women are kind of like that. Yeah, I don't know. Hello, dude. Hello, Supreme Omega. What's up? How you living? How you doing? I like those shades. I wish I had my sunglasses. I would have like done a cool little thing where just like, but I don't have sunglasses, so I'm not gonna do that. Tevia says, true Steve Ditko characters are complete jerks and not great people. Yeah, but I don't know. I like that. I really kind of like that about um, the Steve Ditko Spider-Man comics. I think it adds a flavor to the Marvel universe. Like that, like there's like this kind of great irreverence to that world. It makes it different from DC, and that's why I appreciate it. Um, and Toby says that he loves the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series Gwen Stacy way more than the comic version. Uh, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where they make her like the like super brainy chick, um, which is kind of like the weird snake eating its own tail because Gwen Stacy in Spectacular Spider-Man is basically just Ultimate MJ, but blonde and named Gwen Stacy. Very interesting how that works. Um, ah! Um, Supreme Omega says, hey man, so on the new episode of the MCU Miss Marvel, they reveal that Kamala's powers come from genies. And that she's the mystical chosen one. That sounds retarded. I'm sorry, that sounds dumb. Granted, I don't have context for it, but I'm also just not watching the show. I like Iman. I think that's what her name is. Based off the interviews that I've seen with her, she's really charming. She's really cute. That's the energy that I think is necessary for playing a character like Kamala Khan. But I'm just not interested in watching the show. I'm just not. I've come to this whole thing with the MCU that like it's not for me. Marvel Studios has kind of cultivated a fan base in and of itself, separate from the Marvel Comics fan base, and I feel like based off everything that I've seen from more like Phase 3 and Phase 4, they're going more in the direction of like pleasing the MCU fan base as opposed to the comic fan base, which is fine. You know, it's just I think it's good to recognize whether or not something is made for you. And as it stands, a lot of the current MCU stuff just isn't made for me. So I don't know, I'm just choosing to like step back and just not engage with it because I'm not the target audience and I don't want to like watch something that I know is not going to like tickle my pickle, you know, or suit my fancy. But you know, best of luck to the cast and crew of Miss Marvel. I'm really glad that she's getting adapted. It's really cool that that's a character that's going to get a lot more exposure now. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool in a melancholy kind of way for me, at least. Adam says, what's the most surprising development of a superhero character that you've seen in a comic? For me, it was when Flash became Venom. Arguably the best version. You're right, it is the best version. Not arguably. We're not going to argue that here. Flash is the best Venom. I don't care. Seeing the football dude become a vet was... oh, you got cut off. But, yeah, no, that's a good one. I gotta think about that one. You know what? One of the big ones that standouts to me... standouts. Wow. My English was impeccable right there. One of the big ones that stand out... I did it again. What the hell? One of the big things... The one that is big for me. That's what she said. Is Matt Murdock's psychotic episode in, I think, the middle of Bendis and Alex Maleev's run. The whole thing where Matt Murdock just in costume, and then halfway through just rips his mask and like the shirt of his Daredevil costume off, just beats the hell out of Wilson Fisk in a bar, and says, "I'm the Kingpin now." That was insane. That was a big moment. I don't know. I really like that a lot. I thought that was a great like development for the character of Matt Murdock, where Matt kind of comes to this realization. Not a good realization. It's actually him learning the wrong lesson. But it's that thing where Matt's like, you can't beat crime. All you can do is just try to control it. And then later on, you have like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, and I think Luke Cage and Iron Fist confront him later on, and they're like, "Dude, what are you doing? You're kind of losing it, bro." And Matt's like in complete denial. He's like, "No, it's okay. I'm not gonna be like, Wilson Fisk. I'm just gonna be the Kingpin that, like, does crime legally." Very weird, but I thought that was a great development for the character of Matt Murdock. Very fascinating status quo. That's also like kind of the beginning of the end of like, well, not the beginning of the end. That's like kind of the beginning of like Matt's downfall that we kind of see throughout the rest of the series. Great stuff all around though. You know what else Paul Rudd taught me? Baskin Robbins always finds out. That's true. In fact, Baskin Robbins they're in your bathrooms. How do you think they know exactly how much milk to put in your ice cream, huh? Just saying. Baskin Robbins, they always know. They're in your walls. Extra sprinkles, please. Just you know the drill. You know the drill, Michael. You know the drill. Xavier says, how do you feel about the new Amazing Spider-Man number 4 having Mary Jane be a complete jerk to Peter and abandoning him? I don't know. I'm not reading it. Toby says, I technically was fine with Peter Parker being a father to those kids because it would have been far more interesting, or at least have the kids be Harry's kids. Well, that'd be weird because, like, how would the kids be Harry's kids? Because I don't know. It takes like 9 months for a baby to be born, and like those kids are like 5. So when did those kids? No. This whole thing's weird, but like I'm like not plugged in. I'm not reading it, so yeah. Supreme Omega says, on Sins Past, my problem is that I'm sick of Norman's post-Clone Saga appearances. I'm tired that he became this convoluted mastermind who's responsible for everything bad in Peter's life. I agree. I saw a meme on Instagram a couple weeks ago where, actually not a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago actually, where it was Green Goblin like on a glider saying like, "It was me, I orchestrated 9/11, Peter." And Peter's just like, I miss when you were my best friend's weird dad, who I occasionally fought and threw bombs at my face. I don't know. There's like a fun little simplicity there. But I don't know. Such a bizarre choice to make Norman Osborn the architect of Peter's pain. I don't necessarily think Peter Parker needed a Blofeld type character, but I guess I guess Norman Osborn fills that role now. Aggressively Relaxing says, there's been this Mephisto Doctor Strange fight building for like a decade, and it seems to be tied to this idea that Spider-Man's kid will be the Marvel Universe chosen one, and I hate it. Yeah. That's also, but that goes back to the idea that I kind of put forth earlier, where I was saying that I feel like, and same with the Avengers, are kind of like a baby Justice League. I feel like the Marvel Universe is evolving into like a baby DC. It's very weird. But it is what it is now, I guess. Anyways, speaking of DC though, I didn't get a lot of Marvel comics this week, but I did get some pretty big DC titles. The first one is World's Finest by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. This comic continues to be just an absolute Bronze Age blast. I like that alliteration. I like how that worked. Like, I don't know, this comic is just everything that like DC's Bronze Age represents. I still think the Bronze Age is like the best era for DC Comics personally, but I don't know why I showed this page in particular. I mean, I think it's really cool though, like, you know, having Batman like grab the Philosopher's Stone and like protect Superman from Hal Jordan's willpower projection. I think that's really cool. But the thing that caught my eye immediately was Supergirl, because Coom. But also, I really like the Dan Mora design for Supergirl here. It's basically just the 70s Supergirl outfit, but like minus that really retarded looking headband. It was the 70s, so no, I'll let it pass. But still, ugh. Bro, this comic's really fun. And Dan Mora was just born to draw the DC universe. Like, look at this, dude. This is absolutely gorgeous and stunning. This is how I visualize the DC universe in my head. I don't know how Dan Mora did it. Dan Mora just kind of like reached into my brain and like went past all the like weird childhood trauma and all that and just said, oh, cool, DC universe. Let's just extrapolate all that and throw it on a page. Oh, and this is like my favorite bit. Hold on. When when Batman and Superman do the Goku Gohan fusion. Is it Goku and Gohan? I'll be honest, I actually never watched Dragon Ball Z. Does that make me a heretic for my age group? I don't know. Dragon Ball was like never really my thing, but I don't know if Dragon Ball is anything like this. It's just, bro, color me a Dragon Ball fan, because this is fantastic. But dude, I don't know. This whole thing is great. I'm loving this comic. It's really fun. And yeah, Mark Waid is an interesting duck. I've met Mark Waid before. I hope to never meet Mark Waid ever again. But yeah, this comic is fantastic. Mark Waid is just, it's undeniable that he is one of, if not the quintessential DC Comics writer. Mark Waid gets the DC universe. Yeah, bro, like well, that's sad. I saw the George Perez in memoriam. It's a really good page, by the way. I wonder if I can name everybody here. Oh, sorry, it's my phone. But I'm gonna just silence that. But I don't know. Actually, no. Let's go through this, okay? Hold on. Okay. Who do we got here? Crap. I'm gonna like try to hold it. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Um, but I think I can name everybody here. Is that a George Perez Spectre? Part of it kind of looks like an Alex Ross Spectre a little bit. I don't know. You tell me. Uh, I don't know. But yeah, no. Rest in peace, George. Sorry, I got like really distracted there. But yeah, no. I don't know. I absolutely adore this comic. I think Mark Waid is just kind of delivering everything that DC fans have been asking for the past couple of years. But yeah, no, this continues to be like my favorite DC title dropping currently. Well, one of my favorite DC titles dropping currently. And yeah, man, I like it a lot. I got nothing else to say that's interesting. It's really good, comic good. What else? What else? Oh, let's like jump into the second one then. Black Adam by Christopher Priest. So okay, when it first got announced that Black Adam was getting a maxi series, my immediate thought was to just like blow it off because movie synergy. I don't care. It looks stupid. Whatever. And then I saw Christopher Priest was attached to it, and I said, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll check it out." And I don't know. It's good. It's a solid first issue. It's everything that I would expect a Christopher Priest Black Adam comic to kind of be, and that it's very steeped in like politics and DC lore, and I don't know. It's Christopher Priest has a very unique writing style, and I really fucks with it. Every time I read a Christopher Priest comic, it makes me want to see a Quentin Tarantino superhero movie, which I know we will never see, but we almost apparently did. We almost saw a Luke Cage Quentin Tarantino movie with Lawrence Fishburne. I think that would have been great. I really wish we got that. But yeah, no, I really like Christopher Priest's writing style. I was kind of confused at first when you see that Black Adam is just kind of like hanging out as like a regular Middle Eastern dude. And it's not the Senate, is it? It's the OFAC building. Is that a real building? I mean, like I live like just outside of Washington D.C. I should know this, but like I don't know. Yeah, this comic is off to a great start. Very well written, but like it's Christopher Priest, man. Of course, it's well written. Like, it's like saying water is wet. But yeah, no, I dug it so far. I'm sure the movie will not be anything like that comic in the least bit, but still really cool. Well, let me get back to the chat real quick though. Adam says the editors were like, "No, we can't let him get old. We need to, we need him to be young and hip and sexy and reach." I was at reach the kids. That was a very terrible next line after saying young, hip, and sexy. But even though he's a guy who's supposed to relate to people of all ages. You talking about Peter Parker? Yeah, yeah. But on editors, I'm starting to really feel like they're just kind of, I don't know. Comic book editors, I'm starting to feel are just the extremely poor version of like Hollywood producers. Instead of doing coke, they do ketamine, and they make really dumb decisions based off that and their ego. Weird. I don't know. But that's kind of the entertainment industry as a whole. It's just people making really poor choices and then like vehemently defending them because their ego is hyperinflated. Like the dude who did that really awful. What if Miles Morales was a nigga? I mean, what if Miles Morales was Thor? Comic. Did you guys read that, by the way? Okay. I think somebody asked me if I checked it out last week. I think I like flipped through it, but I didn't like read it. Jesus Christ. That comic is awful. What a painfully egregious display of neoliberal Western just ignorance, because that's what that is. It's nothing but pure. Look at me. I'm hip. I'm cool. I'm in the know. I'm gonna reach this demographic by pulling from like all the things that I see in movies in Instagram. Aren't the kids ghetto fabulous? Isn't Asgard so hood because Miles Morales is like the funky fresh dope man of the Asgardian funky flowness? Why are there shoes on the telephone poles? Telephone pole wires in Asgard? Why are there telephone wires in Asgard? It's space heaven. Why is there graffiti all over the fucking like walls and palaces of this interdimensional space heaven? Why do all the black people talk in rhymes like they're fucking leprechauns? What is this? If you look, I don't know the name of the writer who wrote that What If Miles Morales issue. Look, if you just want to walk up to me and call me a spear chucker, just do that instead. That would be far less offensive than reading What If Miles Morales was Thor. I'm sure your heart was in the right place when you wrote that. I'm sure you were trying to upkeep the tradition of comics being forward thinking, and you had representation, for minorities on the brain when you were writing that comic. But I'm gonna just need you to just take a big step back and fuck off. Seriously. And that goes for like not just you, but like just comic creators on the whole who are trying their hardest, especially the white ones. I'm sorry, I hate to make this a race thing, but like you ever notice how like the most vocal of these progressive minded comic creators who are like, no, we're champions for representation and the left and blah blah blah. They're all uppity ass like white people. I'm just saying, man. Tom Taylor in a nigga for sure. Yeah. And he's doing the bang up job with Son of Kal-El. I don't know. Please put your performative politics aside when you're writing these characters. Because the whole like trying too hard to appeal to every demographic and and trying too hard to make people who don't look like you feel seen, you're actually doing more harm than good. And I don't know why you need someone to tell you that. But it's okay. You know, everybody has a lapse in common sense. It's what makes you human. But please, for the love of God, comic creators, stop trying to pander to minorities, at least in the way that you've been doing it for the past couple of years. It's very cringy. And this What If Miles Morales comic was just... It was the epitome of everything that I think a lot of people have been turned off on in terms of, like, comics the past couple of years. So yeah, just stop it. I don't remember how I got here, but yeah, that's me having a Joe Biden moment. But whatever. I fell off my bike. Yeah. NSA is gonna shoot me for that. I guess I'll just jump right into the chat. Oh wow. Well, that's timely. How do you feel about that Tom Taylor Son of Kal-El book? Well, I hope my last trail off answered your question. I think it's terrible. Any opinion on the Jerry Duggan X-Men book currently? Nope, I'm not reading it. I was so on board for the Hickman era X-Men that as soon as Hickman was announced to leave, I just checked out. I don't know. I fell in love with House of X and Powers of X, and yeah, no, man, just when Hickman left, I stopped caring. Hashtag release the Hickman cut. Supreme Omega. Question on Justice League. How come you're not a fan of the late 80s Giffen and DeMatteis Justice League International, aka the comedic JLA? Aren't you a fan of Blue Beetle and Booster Gold? I do like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. I just don't care about making the Justice League The Office. Like, if I'm reading the Justice League, I want to read the Justice League. You know, I want to see Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern. I want to see the paragons of truth and justice fight aliens, and it be epic and cool. That whole like 80s era when like, and I say this with like all love and respect for Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis because I love their work to death, but it just, I don't know. I don't want to see a silly Justice League. It's not my thing, you know. Yeah, it's just not my thing. It's not why I read the Justice League. Supreme Omega says, on Marvel's JLA, it's not the Avengers, it's the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four are Marvel's pantheon, not the Avengers. Yes! Kind of. It's... Yes and no. It's weird. Yes, in the sense that the Fantastic Four are... They're the ones that everyone in the Marvel Universe kind of look to as the beacons of, I don't know, what make the Marvel Universe the Marvel Universe, because they're the first family of Marvel. But the Fantastic Four aren't heroes. That's kind of the thing. Like they're heroic, but they're not superheroes. You know, the Fantastic Four are they're explorers. You know, because the Marvel Universe is built off the back of fringe science fiction. Yeah, no, like the Marvel Universe kind of it is a little colder. It's a little more calculated. It's less warm and inviting than the DC Universe. And I think Fantastic Four stories kind of like highlight that. So in a way, kind of yes, the Fantastic Four are the JLA of the Marvel Universe, in the sense that that title represents everything that makes Marvel Marvel. The same way that Justice League ideally represents everything that the DC Universe is built on. Question: any opinion on doing a pitch video as to how to retcon One More Day or do a Superman Reborn style story but for Spider-Man? Because I would personally love that story to restore Peter and MJ's love. Well, I think you might be like sorely disappointed in my take. I wouldn't retcon One More Day. I wouldn't. At this point, I would just kind of I would follow up Straczynski's run spiritually and have Peter put the mantle of Spider-Man behind him. And I would have Peter train a successor. That's what I would do with Spider-Man at this point. And I wouldn't even have Peter married to MJ. I would have Peter married to like some random chick from his past, like Deb Whitman or something like that. Yeah, that's what I would do with Spider-Man at this point. You know what would have been a great moment with Spider-Man and the Avengers? If Cap called Peter to help fight Ultron and Peter says, Can't have to do my taxes today. This holds more precedence." Yeah, that would be really funny. Back when Spider-Man was an Avenger, God, it's such a weird era. Marvel, like over the past 20 years, has been so bizarre. How would you fix Marvel Comics or Marvel Civil War 2 and the Spider-Man Beyond Terrible story? I wouldn't. I don't know, dude. I would just kind of. I feel like trying to fix these stories is exactly how we ended up with these stories in the first place. You know, everyone's trying to fix something. Everyone's trying to repair what they think the last creative team broke. And I don't know, I feel like that's how you build just an empire on a foundation of sand. You're not trying to build for the sake of building. You're trying to build for the sake of tearing someone else down. Yeah, I don't know. Supreme Omega on the Champions. Thoughts of Cyclops becoming the defender of the modern generation of teen heroes like Kamala Khan and Sam Alexander. No. Only because I really like what Hickman did with House of X and Powers of X, where Cyclops has kind of moved on beyond that stuff. He's just kind of looking out for the mutants and mutants alone. I think that's interesting. Mr. Green Beanie, why does Marvel hate Peter Parker and want him to be miserable 24/7? Well, I don't think Marvel hates Peter. I just don't think they know what to do with Peter, because they're trying to fight against the obvious natural conclusion, which is Peter being happy and with that happiness realizing that he doesn't have to be Spider-Man anymore. I think that's the problem that Spider-Man's run into. So, Supreme Omega. On Cerberus, the creator Dave Sim is one of the most talented writer-artists of his generation and indie pioneer, praised by more Gaiman. Pity he lost his mind and came to view women as evil voids. Oh, your homie got red pilled. Pain. Is he a boomer? He might be a boomer. Or Gen X, I don't know. Still sucks. That's sad. Cool My Hero Academia t-shirt. Oh, thanks. Yeah. My buddy got this for me for my birthday a couple years ago. I keep trying to do like the e-girl thing, like I'm like just a Minx or like, you know, Emiko or someone, but like I'm obviously not like an attractive e-girl, so I'm just gonna not flash my tits. But I am gonna show off this sweet shirt because it's very sweet. Supreme goes on to say, ironically, Cerberus was known for complex, nuanced female characters. It had a higher female readership than most of the Big Two comics in the 80s heyday. Pity, Dave Sim really hated women. It'd be like that though, right? You know? What's the best way to write complex characters? If you hate the person that you're writing about. On Tom Taylor's John Kent run, where will John fight homophobia with his fist? It would be so great if, like, Lex Luthor shows... No. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be John's boyfriend. Yeah, it's going to be Jay. And Jay is going to turn into, like, a giant, toxic, hyper-masculine, like, Incredible Hulk monster. And it's going to be all of his internalized homophobia. You know, it's going to come to the surface. And, you know, it's going to be John fighting the demon that is intolerance and self-hate. That is going to be the demon of homophobia that John Kent fights and eventually just destroys because this bullshit sounds retarded. It's so bad. What? Oh my god. Oh, dude. I kind of wish I was following the John Kent book just to like chronicle this train wreck. I wonder if it's gonna last beyond 12 issues. Like, I really wonder if it's gonna last beyond 12 issues. I feel bad ragging on Tom Taylor for this because apparently Tom Taylor got like really in his feelings the other day and left Twitter. Which, good. I think more writers should leave Twitter. Especially Tom Taylor, because that comic is, from what I've seen, nothing but Twitter personified. Which is just the death of comics, as far as I'm concerned. But, nah, dude, that comic cringe as fuck. It's just very bad. Chevy says, I meant the kids from Sins Past being Harry's kids, not the current stuff. Oh, I thought Harry only had one kid. Normie, right? Toby says having both Batman and Superman fused together was really awesome and badass. Yes, it was badass. I like seeing my two favorite heroes inside of each other. I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna clip that and make that my ringtone. Oh man. On Champions, it does get better with Jim Zub and the E viewing runs, because the initial Wade run was bad because he never let Mark Wade write a modern. Because you should never let Mark Wade write modern day teens again. Wade and Gen Z teen heroes do not mix well. Yeah, how old is Mark Wade? Like fucking, like 50, 60? Like no, of course he's not gonna write teenagers well. Supreme Omega, thoughts on Wizard Magazine? Do you think that it was a good idea or a bad idea for the industry? I think Wizard was cool. I think Wizard was about as beneficial as what I'm doing right now, you know, or what Comic Pop does, or you know what all these other comic book YouTube channels do. Yeah, no, I think Wizard's fine. It's literally just a hub for nerds who like comics to sit down and talk about comics. Except for Wizard, it was nerds with like clout, which is really just like comic book Twitter, you know. But like back in the day, that's really all it is. Actually, now that I put it in that context, I think Wizard was like the worst thing to ever happen to the industry. Yeah. I like how I did a 180 on that completely. Thoughts on the current Flash book, because I love that book. It's really awesome. I've been keeping up with it sporadically. I really like the Jeremy Adams stuff. I think Jeremy Adams is a really solid writer. I think he has a deep reverence and love for the Flash legacy. And I think this Dark Crisis tie-in is actually really good. It almost made me care about Dark Crisis. Almost. Almost got me, Jeremy Adams. Almost got me. Any opinion on Dark Crisis Young Justice? I reviewed that book. It was so bad, a complete train wreck. Well, I'll check out a review of it because I'm not going to read it. I saw like a couple out of context panels, and I thought they were just the worst fucking thing in the world. Like when Connor Kent has that whole like mopey moment where he's like, nobody cared about me when I died. Bitch, they erected a statue for you in Centennial Park. What are you talking about? Your butt buddy boyfriend Tim Drake changed his entire outfit for you in memoriam, and then started dating your girlfriend just so that he could be closer to you in a weird kind of way. Like, no, like the world cared when you died. You know, stop. And also, like, Cassie was like being very just biting and cruel in her commentary about her friends, which is kind of funny because I don't disagree with anything that she was saying. It's just I don't think Cassie would say those things. That's like more something that like Rose Wilson, you know, Ravager. Like everything that Cassie says is stuff that Rose would say, not Cassie. So I don't know. That just really put me off. Supreme Omega says, Christopher Priest, I wish that he became as big as Morrison or Wade. Pity that never happened. Well, I think the unfortunate reason why that never happened is because, well, the comic book industry, being the comic book industry, just it's still a part of the entertainment industry, and the entertainment industry is racist as fuck. And I get the feeling that Christopher Priest got pigeonholed as the black writer, so he was never really allowed to break out and like do a proper Superman run or a proper Flash run or a proper Aquaman run. Although I think an Aquaman book by Christopher Priest would just, that would blow harder than like Lana Rhoades in her heyday. That comic would be amazing. I would pay like a lump sum of some poor kid's college fund. Not mine, because I need like my college money. But someone else's. You know, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I would do almost anything to see a Christopher Priest Aquaman book. Yeah, no, Christopher Priest is a great writer. Highly underrated. I feel like there's a whole undercurrent of fantastic writers that we just don't talk about because they're not Mark Waid, Grant Morrison, and Jeff Johns. Like, I think J.M. DeMatteis is on that list. I think Christopher Priest is on that list. I think Tom DeFalco is on that list. Once upon a time, I would have said Matt Fraction, but after that big Iron Man run, I think Fraction's been like put on the map, if you will. But yeah, dude, no, like I don't know, I really like Christopher Priest's work. I think he's a great writer. It does suck that he's like not as well known as some of the other writers in comics. Toby says, Adam says, comic book editors are like the assistant manager who just walks around and tells you where to put things, but do not care if you do it correctly. Yeah. W says, I read that What If Miles Morales Thor. It was a mess and felt like a cash grab, and I really didn't care about it. Yeah, it was awful. Supreme Omega. One editors and executives. Jeanette Kahn was the best thing to happen to DC, and when she left in 2002, things started to go downhill. Really? I didn't know who Jeanette Kahn was, but that tracks. 2002? Yeah. But, Supreme Omega. On politics, shouldn't comics reflect real-life issues? I mean, there was a 70s Stan Lee Spider-Man story where Peter fought against a crooked racist politician. Well, okay, that's the thing. I think comics definitely should tackle real-world issues, but that's why you have allegory. You know, that's why you have. Okay, well, first of all, I think if you want to tackle real-world issues in comics, you first have to have a complete and nuanced understanding of the problem you're trying to comment on. Just having Superman punch homophobia in the face is not nuanced at all. I don't know. Or like having it's just very frustrating, you know. I think a lot of writers, they have ideas for how they want to approach these things, but they don't really understand all the mechanisms that go into the things that they're like trying to comment on, and it results in just a very hollow story. And that's where I kind of get off saying that if you're not going to approach these matters in a nuanced, realistic fashion, then just don't do it at all. Because I'd rather you not do it as opposed to do it and you do it very poorly and very cringily, if that's a word. But yeah, I don't know. W says, surprise. Tom Taylor admitted that turning John Kent Superboy into a bisexual was actually a pointless gimmick from the very beginning. Which is really sad, because I think you can do something very interesting with taking the son of, in many ways, the ideal masculine figure, and having his legacy be queer. I think there's something very interesting there. I don't think Tom Taylor was the guy to do that. At least based off what we've seen with the book so far. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's kind of it. I'm just gonna in the stream. I don't know. I don't want to end the stream on a negative note though. So what else? Oh, last book. Boom. I got Akira Volume 5, which is really cool because if you recall from last week's stream, I got myself Akira Volume 4. And let me show you this real quick because I'm like super excited. Now, get over here. As you can see, oh no, I didn't think this through all the way, but it's okay because I'm gonna wing it. I have the complete collection of Akira. I'm so excited. Oh, dude, I cannot wait to read all these. This is gonna be so great. Oh man, I'm super excited. I'm happy. Oh man. Oh, I love this manga so much. I can't tell you how many times I've read and reread Volume 1 of this series. Yeah, I can't wait to go through this. But let's see. Tevye says it's time to go to bed. Oh, good night, Tevye. But yeah, no, I'm super excited for this. I'm a whore for science fiction, and I actually want to do a video on that at some point, like breaking down like my top 5 or 6 or 7 science fiction comics. That's a video idea. I'm gonna note that for later. Jesus. That's like the one drawback of comics. You get like that weird paper dust that just kind of like gets up in your nose. Ugh. But yeah, I'm super excited. I now have the complete collection of Akira, and I can't wait to read it all at once. Oh yeah. Put you up there. Boom. Looks so good on my bookshelf. I like it. But yeah, let's see. The problem is we never got a chance to see John Kent experience his childhood naturally. Yeah, that's like a big problem. I've talked about that before in some past videos. It just makes every development with John in a contemporary setting just kind of feel hollow. And True Omega says, I feel the Paul Levitz was the last strain of classic DC. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Supreme Omega. On a positive note, I recommend James DeMatteis' Spectre run, and it features Hal as the Spectre. Oh, sweet. James DeMatteis is like he's such a master. I love James DeMatteis' work so much. I don't think I have it here, but I just started collecting the Dr. Fate run that he did in the 90s. God, that comic is really good. I only have issue 1 of the miniseries, although I know what happens in that. And I just started reading through the main series that he did, the 24 issue series, which I'm missing like 4 issues from that, which is like very kind of annoying. They're not key issues or anything, but it's just I wish I had them. But yeah, no. James DeMatteis is just an absolute beast. One of my favorite writers in comics. I wish he got more recognition, and I wish his stuff got collected more. Hopefully in the future, we gotta ring that bell. Ding, 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 ding. The bell's already been rung. Supreme says, also in James DeMatteis, I want Marvel to reprint the DeMatteis and Buscema Spectacular Spider-Man run. Yeah, dude. I would kill a baby kitten to get a reprint of The Child Within. Not my kitten though. I can't kill my kitten. It'd be someone else's. Like a 5-year-old's. They're not gonna remember. It's fine. But no, dude. I would do some dubious shit for a collection of the James DeMatteis run. James DeMatteis is a great voice for Peter. Like, I absolutely love his take on Peter Parker. Just so fantastic. And Buscema's art is beautiful. I know some people aren't big fans of Buscema's art. It's okay. Some people are just wrong in life, and it just be like that. But yeah, no, I really love Buscema's art, and I love James DeMatteis' take on Peter Parker. It would be so cool to see their run reprinted at some point down the line. Debbie says James DeMatteis recently did a Ben Reilly. Yeah, he's doing that Ben Reilly book right now. I'm not reading it just because I'm kind of I'm spidered out at the moment. But if you say it's good, I believe you, because DeMatteis is fantastic. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm going to end this stream today. Thank you guys for showing up. Now I'm going to go to the go through the grueling editing process and get some of these. Oh, actually, okay. One last question. Supreme says thoughts on Roger Stern's run on Spider-Man. I don't think I've read all of Roger Stern's run. I think I've only read the Hobgoblin Lives arc, and I liked it a lot. Roger Kingsley supremacy. That's how we're doing it. But yeah, no. That's where we're gonna end the stream. Thanks for showing up, guys. It means a lot. And yeah, I think you guys are amazing. But you fucking know that already. Anyways, I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. Not wearing a beanie, just rocking my hair. Oh, that made my nose drip. But thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, adios, nachos, adios.